Hey guys, welcome back to 9 to 5 Tactical, and today we're going to get our first impressions on the new Staccato HD P4.
Alrighty, so first shot, see how it goes. Oh yeah, it feels really good. Damn, that feels really good. I like the grip texture on it quite a bit. And the grip's a little bit smaller compared to my Staccato P, which is awesome.
Yeah, nice thing about the Staccato, it's got full ambient controls. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but and you can actually hit it with your primary hand now, which is really nice. It shoots really good. It's a 4-inch barrel, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised for how good it feels, being like kind of like a compact size barrel, you could say. Obviously, it's a full-size grip, like you would get on any Staccato P. Something I did notice though is that the grip is a bit skinnier, which is nice. I have the XC and it's definitely a thicker grip. I feel like this kind of goes more traditional to like what M&P does. They have like a longer grip width. So I think it really helps like hold the pistol in place. Trigger, I know it has a drop safe, and people are really concerned about it, the trigger feeling like shittier, but honestly you can't really tell a difference when you're actually under live fire. So when people are like, oh, their trigger's gonna suck a lot more because they have a drop safety in there, honestly, you don't really notice it.
The main thing I had issue with, if I was worried about picking this gun up, was whether the grip angle would follow the 1911 or 2011 grip angle. Since this does take Glock mags now, I thought they might change the angle on that. But honestly, if I'm picking it up, the feels actually exactly the same. Like, if anything, it might be slightly different. But I don't know if it's a placebo effect or not, because I think I saw Roger Brer's video and he showed how they were the exact same angle. But for some reason, maybe it's because this doesn't have a grip safety. Maybe that's the reason why it feels just a little bit different. But I'm actually not having issues with it at all. So feels like a Staccato. I mean, like, I was thinking it's gonna probably shoot like a Glock, but I don't know. It still feels like a traditional Staccato so far. Grip texture does feel exactly like how the newer Staccatos actually already are. I do like how it's a little slimmer, especially for me since I do have smaller guns on the channel. I'm able to get a really good grip on it. This is the 4-inch variant, not the 4.5. I don't know if the grip length is different or not on the 4.5, is it? They might be the same. This might be a full-size grip. But we did get a flared mag well on this one as well. And for my hands, it does actually go all the way down to that flared mag well and hug it very well. I haven't shot my Staccato P in a little bit now, but honestly, as I was shooting it, I really did not feel like any difference going to the 80 series trigger system, what everyone's talking about. I think if you were probably like a hardcore 2011, 1911 fan, or even like a, I don't know, like a trigger snob or something like that, you might feel there's like the slightest bit of like slight mush before the break, but it's so minimal. I barely feel it.
As for the specs of the HD P4, it is chambered in 9mm. It is a 4-inch barrel, hence the name P4. It is a bull barrel, as you can see here. It's traditional in all 2011s. As for the dimensions, it is 7.6 inches long, 1.6 inches thick, and 5.5 inches tall. The gun itself weighs 32 ounces naked without the magazine. And a couple new features that's new for the HD P4 is that it is fully ambidextrous controls. As you can see here, slide release on the right and slide release on the left. As well as safety selectors are also ambidextrous. And then of course, the thing that makes it so nice is that it takes Glock mags now. This is actually a standard P mag you can get for this is a standard P mag you can get for the Glock, and they're like 10 bucks and they fit perfectly in here, and there's no issues with slide lock and feeding the rounds. So whatever Glock mags you have, it takes it. And lastly, the thing that everyone was talking about is that it's now drop safe if you drop it this way. You can actually see here that it features the new grip texture. If you are familiar with older Staccatos, it did have their lightning bolt style texturing, but now is kind of like a skateboard texturing, which really locks into your hands quite well. And then I guess the double-edged sword of this is that it actually grinds my tummy away, and it does kind of hurt over time. But that's something I like, especially when shooting the gun. It does not want to move from my hands. And while we're on the lower end of the grip, we can talk about the flared magwell here. And unfortunately, for a full-size gun, this does not come standard. And if you know the standard Ps, the 4.4s that came out a few years ago, they actually do come with a flared magwell. And unfortunately, you have to pay an additional 75 V-bucks for this, and the gun already starting at around 2,500. That's kind of rough. Unfortunately, for a duty pistol not to have that kind of sucks. But anyways, moving forward on the lower frame is that you can see that we have a Surefire X300 Turbo. As you can see, maybe on the camera, that is a full dust cover. It goes all the way to the end, so it looks really nice and flush. The pick rail, I mean, not the light. The light kind of protrudes a bit because this is the 4-inch model, but you can fit any small light to full-size light you want. A few things I do want to talk about that's different from the existing non-high definition P is that the grip is actually slightly skinnier. Not only is it slightly skinnier, you notice there's actually no safety, grip safety on the back here. So it does kind of almost like allow you, no, it does allow you to have a higher grip, and there's like a really nice feeling here, which I'm someone that, I mean, I don't really like the grip safety. I do kind of find it a little unnecessary. I mean, I know that extra safety is always great, but I just wasn't a fan of it because we have a manual safety, and now especially because it's drop safe. Another ergonomic change is that there is actually a single cut under here. I think this existing P does not have a single cut. It's just like more squared off, so it does kind of allow you to have a higher grip on the gun. So overall, the ergonomics of the new P4 HD P4 is a bit more ergonomically friendly to those who have smaller hands. So there has been some talk about the grip angle. Of course, it's taking Glock mags. Is it going to have the Glock grip angle? If you can see the design here, the back of the grip, it actually kind of extends a little bit longer. So upon presentation, you think, oh, is it going to be like a Glock? You got to push your wrist forward? No. It actually almost feels like a traditional 1911. If you're concerned about grip angle, there's no worries there. Staccato designed it in a way so it is more of a traditional 1911 grip style.
Now, talking about the trigger, probably the most controversial part about the new HD line is how they moved to their 80 series trigger. The reason why they did that, Dominic actually mentioned it earlier, is because there was a lot of speculation on the internet talking about how the Staccatos were not drop safe. So to fix that, they brought they put in the 80 series trigger system that would pin a striker pin block. Now that does affect the trigger though. So I'll show you here. It's clear, and I'm putting my finger on the trigger, and there's a little bit of take up there, just like a normal Staccato would be. But here's where it actually differs. You might see the littlest bit of creep for the brake, just a little bit. It makes the trigger just a little bit more mushy compared to the older Staccato line there. Before, 2011s are really known for their glass brake, and this one has more of a mushier brake. Now, I still believe this is actually better than any striker fire platform out there on the market. This is still a very, very good trigger. Honestly, we've actually all talked about before, and we've shot this quite a bit now, that if you are not familiar with 2011s, 1911s, that kind of thing, you wouldn't be able to tell any difference. It's still a very solid trigger. Now, if you were someone that has some experience with 2011s or 1911s, that kind of thing, like us, you do notice it, but does it actually affect performance? That's kind of the big one we want to answer here. So it comes down to the performance of the trigger here. We actually found no difference as far as our splits. As you guys know on the channel, I am known for my faster splits, and I'm still able to get sub 1.5s, no problem with this platform here. So moving on to the 80 series trigger, I don't think it was a bad idea from Staccato. The drop safe issue was kind of people on the internet made it a big deal, so Staccato decided to address it. So guys, if you guys were worried about them changing the trigger, about how it being not as clean as before, well, you guys kind of shot yourself in the foot, because now the trigger isn't nearly as good, but now it's drop safe. HD P4 has the normal polymer curved trigger, like how the traditional Staccatos used to have, basically the entire line has now. Now, the trigger pull weight is right at that 4.5 pound mark. It's going to be the same trigger weight as the previous Staccato Ps. And the reset here, I'll just show you that. Still very short. very easy to shoot for follow-up shots. So next biggest change done to the HD line is actually going to be the iron sight setup here. The front sight post, you'll notice, is actually just a blacked out post there. Now this is the standard package. They do have a higher package where you can actually get a tritium front sight if you wanted to. So if you wanted that option, you're spending an additional 200 V-bucks. Moving on to the rear iron sight here, you'll notice is actually irons forward. So it's going to be ahead of the red optic here. It's kind of the new thing that they're trying out. You can see here that that is actually blocking the chamber, stopping the optic from getting dirty from carbon. Something that was actually pretty well known of the previous Staccato models was that if you put an optic like the Churchcon SRO or something along those lines, the optic would get crazy dirty because it would be sitting right above the chamber face. Now they fixed that by moving the irons forward and now allowing you to also have a full sight picture of the optic in the rear. Now the irons forward method is kind of something that is actually not that well known in the training community. A lot of people are not used to this kind of setup. The good news is that if you wanted to actually remove the rear iron, you actually could. There's actually a pin right there. You can take out the rear irons. I've even heard some stories about how some people, their rear irons came kind of loose from factory and they actually completely fell out. So just be aware about that if you're buying the P4. Also, last thing I want to mention is that if you did not like the option of being optics forward, unfortunately, Staccato does not have any options available yet to have the irons in any other position. You always buy the HD with the irons that have the optic here. Next thing's gonna be for the optics is actually gonna be the new host mounting system here. You'll notice here we actually have the standard MPS that we're currently trying out on this firearm. So one thing to know for the optic plate, the mounting plate itself is separate. You do need to order that separately. This time it's only an additional 75 V-bucks though, opposed to the 150 I believe you had to pay previous. So the new host mounting system actually is going to be similar to the MMP. It's actually just going to be an adapter plate that will actually put screws directly through the optic, through the plate into the firearm itself, kind of giving it more like a direct mount setup. Now we think that is definitely a step in the right direction from Staccato. We've always talked about how we prefer when objects can be direct mounted, and now that Staccato brought up a new system to where basically any optic you want can be direct mounted. That will actually have less points of failure. That's really good for a duty firearm like this. As I said before, Staccato does sell the adapter plates on their website for an additional 75 V-bucks. The shipping is about 2 to 4 additional weeks though. So if you are planning to buy the HD P4, if you order straight from Staccato, be sure you have that in mind, get in right away with it, or at least order ahead of time if you're planning to buy the P4. They have all the most popular optic adapter plates available on their website, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in putting an optic on your duty firearm, as you should.
Moving on to the slide serrations. The serrations are going to be identical for the front and back. So you're going to have 4 cuts in the front, 4 cuts in the back, and they are going to be the same aggressiveness as the normal Staccato P. And if you want to get the X serrations, you will need to buy the premium package, which is going to be around a 3,000 McChicken. Unfortunately, Staccato does not have the pistol builder on their website yet for the HD lineup, but I'm sure they will have it soon in the future. As you can see here is that the slide release actually protrudes a little bit further back than the standard one. The biggest gripe about switching to a 1911 or a 2011 is not being able to hit the slide release with your primary hand and having to hit it with your support hand. Now the new HD line actually puts the slide release further back, so you're actually able to hit it with your primary hand just like a normal striker fire pistol. Now comparing the mag releases here, so the XC actually has a protruded circle mag release here on the sides, while the HD one has a textured slim profile here, and they are both interchangeable as well. So you're able to swap it to the right side for both of them. Now moving on to the safety selectors, they are both going to be ambidextrous for the previous model and the current model, and that you can tell that the XC has a little bit of a bigger profile compared to the new lineup has a little bit of a slimmer profile. And it's nice that the safety selector is slimmer than the previous model, is so that you can hit the side release with your primary hand a little better.
Now for Staccato HD P4, you can see here I did 25-yard grouping with 115 grain normal rounds, not so defense rounds, just normal range ball ammo here. You'll see that it comes out to be about an inch grouping. Really good for the Staccato there. Now, as I said before, there's going to be many factors to this, with it being the shooter. I shot it. I did do it on a rest. Another thing being ammo. Obviously, we use probably better ammo. You probably get better results. But I would say for range ammo, that's pretty darn good at 25 yards. So my first impressions with the Staccato HD P4, I think overall It feels like a Staccato, it shoots like a Staccato. Only main difference is that it takes Glock mags. I think that's a very good step in the right direction from Staccato, mostly being because Glock's being the most popular magazine out there, also the cheapest as well. Makes this kind of more towards the end of the world type of gun. The big issue that the 2011s had before, the Staccatos, is the fact that you had to pay for $80 magazines, and not everyone has like $80 to $100 magazines out there. But if the end of the world ever happened, and obviously with magazines being the one depreciating item when it comes to firearms, you could pretty much find a Glock mag almost anywhere out there in the world and put it in here and it'll work. Obviously not the smaller size, 19s, that kind of thing. It's not going to fit, but 17 rounders and above from Glock are absolutely going to fit. The 80 series trigger, I know a lot of people talk about how the M&P 2.0 with the Apex trigger is actually better than this. It's kind of hard to say. I do have an M&P 2.0 with the Apex trigger. If you want us to make a video on that by itself, leave a comment down below. We definitely make that happen. But I think as far as the trigger performance, I didn't really see much of a difference. Like, there's definitely a little bit, just slight bit of mush on the brake, not as clean as the previous Staccatos that we have in our arsenal, but it's pretty darn close. Anyone that's picked up this firearm so far that isn't 2011 enthusiast like us or has any experience with them, they can never tell the difference between this and any of the other ones for that matter. Now if you pick up a Glock and then you shoot this right afterwards, everyone tells a difference. There's a huge difference between this. This one's definitely really good trigger. I'm still able to get, a sub 1.5 splits with this on demand, no problem. I also like how Staccato went towards the ambidextrous controls. As we talked about before, for me, is that when doing reloads, I can actually use my trigger finger instead now on side lock reloads, and I don't have to ever worry about breaking my grip all the way to hit that side release anymore, which is great. I absolutely love that. I honestly wish I could put that on my 2011 that I have. My quarter one from Monsoon Tactical, I wish that was an option for me. But for everyone that's getting the 4.5 or the 4-inch HD, I'm pretty jealous because the ambidextrous controls definitely makes a huge difference when it comes to this firearm. The final thing I'll say that I really like how they did was with the new host mag system, actually direct mounting optic straight into the gun itself instead of having it be a plate in between with 4 different optic screws. This is a lot more secure system. I'm glad this Staccato is actually considered shooters and making this a lot more duty proven. I mean, it was already kind of a duty gun before. Now it's for sure definitely a duty gun. Absolutely, if you guys are looking into getting the HD 4-inch or 4.5-inch, I would definitely recommend you get it.
For my final thoughts on the HD, I absolutely love it. It shoots very well. I really like how it has Glock mags capability. The metal mags are actually really nice. They're only $30 compared to $100 Staccato mags. So that's kind of nice when it comes to this platform. This safety selector doesn't get in my way when hitting that slide release as well. So I'm able to defeat the safety and also hit that slide release, which is really nice. I didn't notice a huge big difference with the trigger itself. I'm really happy that we were able to shoot this and got the chance to do it. It shoots very well and I like it. It's worth it.
So far, I'm really liking the Staccato HD P4. The grip texture is just like my XC. I do think the thinner profile of it's pretty nice. It feels kind of like the M&P 2.0 we've got to review in the past, so that's a pretty nice benefit, especially with smaller hands. But overall, I think my hands lock it better than the previous grip width that was on my XC. Ambidextrous controls are kind of nice. Unfortunately, I still have to break grip to hit the mag release and the slide release, even though it's ambidextrous. I know Brandon has a way of using his index finger over here, but I think for me, being more to be more consistent, just sliding my hand over just a little bit to reach those is fine. In terms of felt recoil so far, I'm actually pretty surprised for the 4-inch length that it actually shoots pretty soft, and the return to zero is pretty good. You can see some shooting clips that I had no issues controlling the recoil on this thing, and usually I am one that does prefer longer barrels. I chose a 4.5-inch Glock 47, and I did have a 5-inch Prodigy in the past, but for the 4-inch barrel on this, I'm actually enjoying it quite nicely. So far, during the break-in, no malfunctions. I know people complain about malfunctions with the Staccato or 211s in their early phase and that they're not as reliable as Glocks. Well, guess what? This takes Glock mags, and so far we've had no issues in the first few hundred rounds. Well, that's all we really have for you today for our initial impressions, our few hundred rounds through it. So far, we've been enjoying it. Be on the lookout for our 1,000 round review, as we always put 1,000 rounds through each gun we review, because we're not just journalists trying to sell you a gun and shilling it out. This was purchased through our own paychecks. And if you enjoyed our shooting, enjoyed the content we make, please leave a like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.